Ecuador, a country of great social, cultural, and geographical diversity, full of history, great artisans which create in vibrant colors, a hard-working people rich with deep traditions. This is an industrious people, and the cities are always bursting with energy. But outside the main cities, the rural farmer lives a very different life.
Malnutrition in Ecuador is becoming epidemic. Chronic malnutrition is at almost 30% and as high as 92% in children in the rural areas of this country and others like it. Almost 60% of children under 5 years of age are anemic. Almost 40% of the population is currently living in poverty. And extreme poverty is very high among rural families, which are mostly farmers.
We're never going to solve the poverty problems of the world until we begin to successfully address the problems of the small-scale farmers in the developing world.
So this is one of the huge problems of dealing with nutrition in the developing world is people are hungry. They just don't eat enough food. Not alone nutritionally complete food, just not enough food. And gosh, there are nearly 1 billion people in the world who suffer from hunger. And this is very important, this is very apparent as you work in these villages.
There's no one more hardworking in the world than an Ecuadorian farmer. They work hours a day, and it's not to buy consumer goods or a nice dinner. It's just to buy the requisite amount of food to feed their family. And oftentimes they don't have enough cash to feed their family. And that's when they start skipping meals or skipping meat and valuable protein sources. This sinks them further into poverty because they don't have the nutritional basis to be productive.
We need educational programs. We need nutritional programs. A well-fed child is more attentive in school. A well-fed child doesn't get sick as often. And so if you can feed the family with its land resource by adding new technology that's appropriate to their circumstances, it becomes a very effective way of reducing illness, of improving the condition.
What we do is we work with rural farmers in third world countries, developing countries. And the reason we do that is they have a major problem. Their challenge on the small farm, which is the high majority of them, 800 million people in the world, is they all grow one crop on these small plots of land, and they buy the seeds, sell in the market at maturity, and middleman on both ends is part of the problem. But the major problem and challenge they have is they cannot compete with the efficiency of agribusiness today. Large ag business is very efficient, which makes food for the Western world very cheap, but it makes it to where they cannot compete. Our mission is nutritional self-sufficiency. So what we do is we take them out of the market. We get them to grow a multi-crop scenario instead of a monocrop. Everything they need to eat, they grow. And so it's an array of grains, quinoa, amaranth, wheat, and legumes and vegetables. All the minerals and vitamins, all the things that they need, they grow themselves.
As important to grow the people as it is to increase their yields of crops. And when people begin to grow, they are able to reach a point where they become self-reliant. They take on new opportunities. They see new opportunities. They're willing to be adventuresome because they're not right on the edge where the decision is made, will this compromise my chances for survival, to, will this actually make a difference in my life and the lives of my family so that their circumstances can be better than anything I've ever enjoyed.
So I've always been excited about the work that they do because they're actually impacting lives, they're changing families and communities, and it's a long-lasting impact. It's not a little Band-Aid, it's a deep long-term cure. It's a fix for some pretty dramatic problems. And I'm excited to do something or to be involved with a group that actually impacts lives in that way, totally changes lives.
I didn't know I was going to fall in love with little kids with dirty noses and mothers who had buried their child. I didn't know I was going to work beside people who were carrying their child and pregnant, digging in a hole so they could provide for their family's future. I didn't know that. But having that experience changed my life.
The need is now. The donor is the key to this whole program. Without the donor, we cannot do this.